let no one disregard you. See, in Titus chapter 2, Paul points out duties of people with various ages and stations in our life that Titus must teach. What does age show to everybody? What does age bring you, I should say?
Experience.
Experience?
Yeah.
Maturity.
Maturity.
Not necessary.
This is so true.
Wisdom? Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, for sure. A lot of times, especially when you look, especially we'll just use Grandpa as an example. Every time I look at him, I always see, I know, you see in like old Disney cartoons that the older guy is always white haired, only has a longer beard, and he always represents, maturity. He always represents, some kind of wisdom. And a lot of times, especially in life, we look at that. Age brings experience. They've lived, they've learned, and well, hopefully, not always, but they live and they learn, and they have a lot to bring forth to teach the younger men, younger women of the age. And I think we've lacked that, especially in this world today. We don't take advantage of the older people in the world anymore. We always overlook them. We think that they're just trying to tell us how to live our lives, tell us what to do, rather than looking at them and steering us in the direction we really should. I like how it talks about in verse 2, older men are to be temperate, dignified, sensible, sound in the faith, and love and perseverance. What does that bring to the church? What is the older men's responsibility to the church? Yeah, I do believe that's one of the questions too in the back of the book. What are the duties assigned to older men? Temperate. What is that? What does that mean, Dad? What does temperate mean? You answered. What does it mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's implied that well, you can also think of, something that you're doing in access. You gotta be self-controlled.
Yes.
Not be gung-ho, but be always in control.
Mhm.
That kind of thing, that kind of attitude.
Yeah.
What duties are assigned to older men? They're to teach.
Yep.
They're to be faithful.
Mhm.
They are to know the Bible.
Yep.
These are all duties
Yes.
that are listed on them.
The book also used the word sober. And when you hear the word sober, what do you normally think of? Alcoholic. Yeah, and that's what it brings us is people usually associate these words with the absence of strong drink. But while these are included in the word, seems to go further and suggest a way of life. It suggests a man who has lived long enough to have experienced and observed the cost of self-indulgence.
I'm reminded of the word temper.
Yes.
We used to take in hardened steel, and when I worked as machinists and stuff, what they would do, they would heat the metal up.
Yeah.
So the metal would go through a process and be heated up, and then become harder. I think sometimes that's the way people are. The more experience you have, the more that you go through.
Yeah.
You understand if, with a young person, you just sometimes lose it about certain things. But an older person should take and not get so excited, because they can see that the outcome may not be as bad as what it's going to be, or whatever. So that comes from years of going through different things.
Yes. Yeah. Why is it important for an older men, and older women to be temperate with people?
Because the younger ones are not. And someone has to be.
Yeah, exactly. People are very observant people. I really do believe that. I know especially younger people are very observant. They're gonna learn by watching, the older people the age. I mean, you learn a lot, and you are who you, and the influences you have come from observing, right? I know I've learned a lot from watching you. I've learned a lot from watching Dad. I've learned a lot from watching Brenda. I've learned a lot from watching Mom. You know, you learn how to be, how to interact. I mean, just yesterday, me and Dad were at the Barber Airport, and he was talking to a man, and I learned a lot about talking to somebody, how to approach them, especially if you're going to ask for permission to hunt on the property or to even walk on the property. You know, you don't want to stir up any debates. And I believe that's an important trait to have, especially amongst the church. We talk about older men being very temperate and being sober, and that goes along with your speech. You know, you don't, when you're talking to somebody, especially visitors or people even outside the church, when you're at work, you don't want to be quick to maybe push them when you don't even mean to. You know, you don't want to stir up something that can cause problems.
Why would that be?
When you can quickly lose somebody's attention, you can quickly lose somebody's interest in even in the Word of God, especially if you're trying to build a relationship with them and you're wanting to study with them, you could lose them because they're just going to think that you're too much intruding on their beliefs, trying to steer them in the wrong direction, or cause them to.
We talk about that a lot of times. When you want to teach somebody, you have to take maybe lay a little bit of groundwork.
Yes.
Before you get into some harder things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you want to be able to even have a conversation with them about certain things, religious things especially, you have to lay a foundation. You have to take and show some things that are maybe common, or something would help them to relax and hear what you have to say.
You look like you're about to say something.
No, I think it's a good point, and even the example of you speaking with someone, people are watching that also.
Yes.
So other Christians see the way that you're approaching other people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just the impact it has on the person you're trying to reach, but the impact it has on other Christians that are watching how you conduct yourself.
Yes.
That's how you watch your dad speak to someone.
Yes.
You know, other Christians are watching you, how you approach people.
Yes.
How you speak to them too.
The one thing that also comes to mind is through my various years of athletics, older people must be approachable and younger people must be coachable. I think that says a lot. You know, older, especially when you're talking, well, of course, in this case, your coaches are the older people. You need to be approachable. You don't want to be pushed away. You don't want to kind of confine yourself, especially the younger people. You want them to be able to come to you and to learn from you. And especially in the younger people, you need to be apt to learn. You need to not just be quick to think you're being, what's the word? I lost it. Controlled.
Dominated.
Yeah, I guess dominated might be a good one. You know, you need to be coachable.